folks, thanks for joining us today. My name's John Dubas with Premier Marketing, and we'll be spending the next hour or so discussing a program that has become a near requirement for many agents that are out there offering basic Medicare coverage, health coverage to the population, especially in the form of Medicare Advantage programs. We're finding these programs have become a integral part of a marketing program to that population, and we'll be spending our next hour or so discussing that option, that health option that is available from Cigna with our guest speaker, Mr. Jim Codney, today, that becomes a real staple in many people's portfolio of products for that population. Today's presentation is being recorded, and yet with much of the information that we reference through the course of the presentation will be sent to everybody by email when the recording updates. So we have a link to that recording. A bit of housekeeping, you'll notice in the software there's a section for questions and a section for comments. We ask that you put your questions in the question box, logic there, and we'll make certain that we have them covered. We find that through the course of the presentation we answer many of those questions, but we want to make certain that we address any points of interest in the presentation as we go along as well. What we'll do is start out with a little bit of background on Premier Marketing. Many of you are familiar with us, but for those who are not, we are a national marketing organization founded in 1968. We're part of the Integrity Marketing Platform with offices across the country. We act as an insurance wholesaler for the public through independent insurance agents such as yourself, and we do so with contracts with agents such as yourself at the highest possible commission levels with recruiting contracts available to those who qualify. We do so through a full portfolio of products that includes the base Medicare programs, including Medicare Advantage, Medicare Supplement, and standalone prescription drug programs, but we also offer a full portfolio of life insurance and annuity products, and final expense life insurance and pre-need plans, long and short-term care programs, disability income plans, and ancillary benefits, such as the topic covered today, but also dental, vision, and hearing programs, critical illness cancer plans, accident plans, and telehealth programs, in addition to the hospital indemnity programs like Cigna's version that we discussed today. That Medicare Advantage programs, well, they cover all the national carriers and many of the strong regional carriers that make a difference for you in your market. And that same philosophy carries over into the prescription drug plans, where those national carriers are available for your use through our organization. Our Medicare Supplement portfolio is very large and robust. And like the Medicare Advantage and PDP programs, we have marketing programs in place that help you offer these programs to your prospects and clients. When you speak of the ancillary area, an area of which we'll discuss today, in each of these categories, we have the national leaders for you in that space, and we want to make certain that you realize that this is a great way to not only complete your sale, generate additional income, and drive retention into your agency, but it is also an area that enables you to fill the need of your prospects and clients because of the different options they have as they not only come eligible for Medicare, but in the circumstance like today, may be offered to people that are actually not on Medicare yet as well. So when we look at that Medicare market and we see that huge number of people that are becoming eligible for Medicare benefits, nearly exponential in growth, over 60 million people in our country, we're looking at that just based on age. We don't see a true picture of our Medicare market because there are a portion of the folks that reach Medicare eligibility and choose to defer accessing that care until later in life for one reason or another. But that number is more than made up by the fact that nearly a sixth to seventh of the Medicare population is under the age of 65, accessing their benefits because of medical disability. And in many cases, they are great prospects for the programs that we offer, obviously, but including the hospital indemnity programs that can make a difference for them as well, because they have, that under 65 population, a bit of challenges when it comes to their budgets as well. But you see from this slide, so do a lot of the people over 65. So our being able to help them with their diverse background, be it their health conditions, 2/3 of them have 3 or more chronic conditions, and some of the challenges to their finances, offering programs like we discussed today are a great way to help them deal with the inevitable in many cases and help them deal with the cost of dealing with those conditions as well. That's because when people come on, you've got on the Medicare, you got basically 3 or 4 different categories of people. They don't even have to take the Part B if they don't want to. Most do. Some will pick up only a Part D program. We need to be able to help them quickly should they change their mind on that choice, just that choice. But we find also that a big majority of them go 1 or 2 routes. They either pick up a standardized, modernized Medicare Supplement plan, a Medigap program, to augment what Medicare covers, or many of them now are opting into the Medicare Advantage programs, the Part C programs that kind of bundle a package of benefits for them. In each of these categories, we want to make certain that we have the programs available to help them regardless of what that choice is. And for the people that are just coming on Medicare, the people that are aging in or opting in later or for whatever reason, it's a pretty even split as to what choice they are making. There's a portion of them that'll show up as original Medicare only, but we have to keep in mind that contains the people that are dual beneficiaries, the Medicare, Medicaid people, the folks that have retirement plans, the folks that may be accessing benefits through the VA, the people that may be on original Medicare only, as it says. But in each of those categories, the programs that we have available, we can address needs until we're able to address their base coverages if necessary in the future. A diverse population then, well, in each of these different subsets, our portfolio of products can help them with the circumstances they face when it comes to covering the charges that are incurred by taking care of their health circumstances. And sometimes we need a translator to do that. So one of the first things that you'll see in some of your follow-up is a link to an acronym guide. So we can speak the language because, I don't know, I've been doing this for 30 plus years. There's always some acronym that pops up and you go, what exactly are they talking about here? This can help you translate that as well. And because of these choices, we want to make certain that people realize that if they miss their review of their annual benefit overall outlook, we still have an opportunity to help them. And we see from the Kaiser Family Foundation that the majority of Medicare beneficiaries, they don't review or compare their options annually. And so our reaching out to them, give them an opportunity to address that situation. And in many times we can influence that decision or make certain that they have the information they need to properly make a decision, but they're actually analyzing what they're doing. And that's important because it affects a lot of the people that really have a need to make certain that their benefits are tailored for them. The people that are older, the folks with lower income or lower education, or those with some health challenges. They're some of the most common folks that don't review and they need it the most. So our being able to make certain that we can translate the information that's out there, 1/3 of the population has a difficulty in understanding the program, we can help them with that information they need because the government sources out there, well, the majority of the beneficiaries aren't even using those, even though they're out there for them to gather information. So our making certain that they realize that annual guide they get either physically or electronically, they're actually using it, walking through it, understanding the benefits that they have, and providing them with other sources that may help them understand their choices. Because specifically for today's topic, if they don't have any coverage at all, it's a fairly expensive proposition to go into the hospital. And a hospital indemnity plan can address that circumstance too. If they make other choices, well, we have other options to help them because that stay in the hospital, well, the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality, it reports that almost 30% of all inpatient hospital stays, it shows just how expensive that can be. And we need to address that issue because if they take the choice of going the Med Sup route, they may have fairly extensive coverage should they choose the proper plan there as well for the maximizing of their coverage. but they still have other expenses that they need to address, and we have a tool that can help you with that. So in our Medicare Center, the quoting tool from CSG that's in there, it helps us directly address some of the challenges that people have with Med Sups and Medicare Advantage programs. So it'll go in there and it'll enable us to do a comparison if they have selected a Med Sup or if they have selected a Medicare Advantage, because it's pretty close to half and half on those that are making choices. And when we do so, we need to make certain that we address the maximum out of pocket on many of the Medicare Advantage programs. Many times those programs are available without additional premium, but there are expenses, obviously, that are incurred for the Medicare Advantage population especially, and this is a great program to help address that. So we actually have a recording available for you, a short recording, for as much as it is for when I start talking, that can help them fill that gap right through that software program. And the Cigna programs that we'll discuss today are an option to do that through this software package. That's all part of that Medicare Center program that's available to you as a contracted agent with Premier, that enables you to utilize the CRM that comes with the system to you without cost, and a one point of access, a universal login for 3 different quote engines that you can use at your prerogative. Why we spend time on these programs as much as we do? Well, in the population that we address, those are the folks that are most likely to incur a hospitalization, and we want to make certain that they're prepared for it. Because the overall expenditures for different reasons why a person goes into the hospital, well, sometimes they're non-medical. And these programs are fee-for-service programs that pay in addition to any other coverage, and it helps us with those huge costs that they can incur with a hospital stay or outpatient procedures. So in addition to cancer, why do people go in the hospital? Well, falls, or in this particular circumstance, we need to address the cardiovascular challenges that people have in many circumstances with a heart attack or stroke, because those stays can be extended when someone is in the hospital, and once again, that's a very expensive proposition for them. But when we look at cancer programs, regardless of the base cancer cost, I should say, when we look at the base coverages, if it's a Med Sup or if it's an MA or they haven't made any choice at all, in addition to any type of financial ramifications they may have based on shortfall in their base medical, well, you got all that out of hospital costs that comes associated with a hospital stay that are non-medical in nature, and these programs can really help with that as well. I did mention just a moment ago that falls are a very common way for people to find themselves hospitalized. Pardon me, I had a problem with that word. And we want to make certain that regardless of why a person's going into the hospital, we address their needs. And because we are in a kind of an interesting time in the world here, to say the least, through the pandemic, we want to make certain that the organizations that we work with have the capability for us to do, as they used to say on that old comedy series, Friends, pivot. So if we're not able to visit them face to face, or if you have changed one of the marketing aims of your insurance agency and you are going virtual much more often, that we have the opportunity to address their needs even in a virtual circumstance, because they're becoming increasingly electronically savvy. Think about it. You've had different key components of their life that are actually teaching them, in a manner of speaking, on using electronic systems. For the longest time, worship services were all online. Some still are. But more pertinent to that, outside of that, is the fact that most folks that are accessing healthcare, for the long time, those visits were virtual. So we had doctors that were teaching people how to use electronic devices to access care. Information from key areas in their life, even through dentistry, is being handled electronically, at least up front. And so we have folks that are being trained to accept electronic means of reaching out, and we want to make certain that we do that, because not only does this cover a need, but the more product that we have in a house, the higher our retention rate, our persistency is higher. And it doesn't matter what base coverage to ancillary coverage if it's with the same carrier, as long as it's with the same agent, and that's you. And that's why we want to discuss programs like today with the Hospital Indemnity Program from Cigna. And so I'd like to welcome our guest speaker today, Mr. Jim Codney, who's going to give us some information on how Cigna product can be appropriate for you and how we can make certain that we have this as an active part of our portfolio. So at this time, I'm going to turn over control to Mr. Codney. Jim, thank you for coming on with us today. I changed one of the pictures of you in our presentation. Didn't do it in the waiting section. I apologize for that. But Mr. Codney, the helm is yours. I'm going to be quiet while you educate us as to Cigna's way on helping with hospital indemnity programs. Jim?
Thanks, John. Hi, everyone. Thanks for taking some time today to hang out with John and I and, hopefully expand the knowledge and grow your business. At Cigna, we try and be a good partner for not only our agencies. We worked with Premier for many years and are good friends with them and the other integrity partners out there, but also be a good partner for you, our agents. So we'll take some time. We'll go through our product. As John said, if you have questions, type it in the question box. If we can get you the answer while we're live today, I'll be happy to do it. If not, I assure you, we will follow back up with you and get you that answer. So let's go ahead and get going. So with our company, before we talk about product, I want to talk about our mission or our focus. As an insurance company, especially a health insurance company, it would make sense that we took care of people when they were sick. But at Cigna, we think we can be better than that. And so our mission, frankly, is to improve the health, well-being, and peace of mind of the people we serve by making healthcare simple, affordable, and predictable. Now, the biggest way we do that is we focus on healthcare and not sick care, meaning we try and promote healthy living instead of just taking care of them when they get sick. And we truly believe that if clients live healthy and are more active, that's great for everybody in the circle of this. It's great for the customer, obviously. It's really good for the insurance company because if they're healthy and more active, typically they aren't making as many claims, which in turn is good for you because we're able to have competitive products in the market for longer. So let's review just the base policy, and then in a few minutes we'll get deeper in. So this product is guaranteed renewable for life and is available for new customers anywhere from ages 50 to 85. We'll go through the plan design here in a minute, and the rates are unisex and unitobacco, so no worrying about that. The great thing about hospital indemnity is it doesn't matter if they're which network. We don't have to coordinate benefits, so they can go to any doctor, hospital, etc. that they want. Now, typically this is paired with a Medicare Advantage product, so even if this is one that maybe is a tight network, again, doesn't matter. We paid all the benefits on the hospital indemnity product to the insured and or their beneficiary, so it doesn't matter where they're seen. And we'll talk about all the riders as we go. So here's where the product's available. As you can see, in most of the country, there's a couple outliers in the Northeast and in California and Idaho in the western part of the country. And so let's talk about need. Now, my hope is that some of you have sold these products for a long time and are product experts, probably know more about it than I do. And some of you are thinking, hey, what a great opportunity to include a new product line in my portfolio. Well, if you're new to this, it's really important to understand the need of a product like this. So, let's talk about it. Why the need for a product like this? The average American cannot afford a $1,000 unexpected bill. Well, the scary thing about that is the average hospital stay costs over $10,000. So right there, that tells you that most people in the U.S. really need coverage for something like this. many adults have skipped needed, necessary medical treatment because they weren't able to afford it. And about 45% of Americans say they've had to use all of their savings for stuff like that. Now, hospital stays are very, very, very expensive. We're creeping up on almost $400 billion a year with a B in hospital stay costs. And the average stay is about 4.5 days. Now, guys, I believe we're in a service industry, not a sales industry. And if you've never heard me talk about this before, let me explain. I believe our job as insurance professionals is to educate our customers on their exposure and their risk of loss, in many cases financial loss, and what could be financial peril if they don't have coverage that you offer. And in turn, when we do a good job of educating our customers and letting them make an educated decision on their insurance coverage, sales are a natural byproduct of that. So it's a great opportunity for us to be in an industry where we can truly help people and make a good living. Now, here's some of the things that if you and I were sitting in a room and I was writing on a big whiteboard, these are the costs that we would put up on the board traditionally for, hey, if somebody goes in the hospital, what costs are they going to have? What are their expenses outside of traditional health insurance or Medicare going to be? We'd be writing stuff like this down on that whiteboard. Now, I'm going to give you a little tidbit that I think is awesome. It doesn't matter what the client spends the money on. Again, as I told you before, guys, Cigna pays the benefit directly to the insured or their beneficiary. So if they need to pay for anything on your screen now, let's say copays, deductibles, travel, special diets, groceries, childcare, car payments, great. But if they don't, it doesn't matter. They still get the benefit and they can spend that money however they choose. So it's a really caring way of not caring how they spend that money. So let's get a little more into the product. Now, I'm going to digress and tell you one thing that I really, really, really love about our product. And I think it's even more important than ever in these trying times of pandemics. I know most of you are probably still selling over the phone, not able to sit face to face with clients either in your offices or in their homes. Well, our product for a hospital indemnity is simple. And simple at some point, I believe, in our industry developed a negative connotation. We all wanted that flashy thing with 150 different riders where, you could do all this stuff for a client. But especially if you aren't sitting in front of them, I think simple is not good. It's paramount, right? If you're talking to somebody over the phone about a hospital indemnity product, how are they going to make an educated decision if they can't even understand what you're trying to talk to them about? So I'm going to tell you about our product. It's very simple, and when you pair that with a Cigna product and a simple option, what a great combination to talk to your clients about. So we've got 3 sort of prepackaged levels of coverage. Now with your first level, which is that top Senior Choice Plan 1, there's really only 2 decisions a client needs to make. How many days do they want coverage for? Their choices are either 6 days or 10 days. Their other is, what do they want their benefit amount to be for their hospital confinement? It can be anywhere from $100 to $450 a day in $25 increments. Now, if they're just buying the base product, that's all they need to decide. Simple, easy. I could explain that to a 6-year-old. Now, if they want a little more coverage for observation room and skilled nursing, they would go to Plan 2. No other decisions to be made, just, hey, if you want that coverage for those 2 things, you go to Plan 2 because it includes everything we talked about in Plan 1 and observation room and skilled nursing. Now, guys, if they really want to go all out and choose Plan 3, they do have one other decision to make. And that decision is simple. It's what do you want your hospital admission benefit to be? It could be either $250, $500, or $750. Now, if they do move to Plan 3, they also get ambulance and ER coverage. So they get a little more coverage. Now, I will tell you, again, I've said this before, this product is primarily sold or paired with a Medicare Advantage sale. When we were building this, somebody asked me, hey, what plan do you think will be your number one seller? Guys, I didn't even hesitate. I said, Plan 1, our cheapest plan. It'll be a nice little addition to either a no or low premium Medicare Advantage sale. Now, I do have to tell you that I was pleasantly surprised when we actually did some data and found out, believe it or not, our number one selling choice for these plans is Plan 3. That means those of you who are selling the product now are actually taking the time to explain to your customers the benefits and really, explaining to them what their options are and explaining the product in good detail where a customer can, understand the benefit of getting the more expensive plan that covers a lot more. So what do benefits cover? They cover hospital confinement, observation room, skilled nursing, hospital admission, ambulance, and ER. So let's talk about that a little bit. So with hospital confinement, right, we've already talked, it's anywhere from $100 to $450 a day in $25 increments. That's that second decision they would have had to make. And the first decision, again, was how many days do they want that coverage for? It's either 6 or 10. Now, it's paid when they're confined as an inpatient due to a covered illness or injury or an accident. And it must be within 90 days of that injury, illness, or accident. And this does have up to 4 confinement benefits a year, and there's no hourly time requirement for confinement. So as long as they're considered confined, they're good for this benefit. Now, the observation room, that's $100 per day and $2 per year. And it's paid, obviously, when they're put in the observation room on a non-inpatient basis. Now, skilled nursing, again, $100 per day. It begins on day 21 of confinement. And as you see, I won't read everything for you, but we'll pay up to 80 days per year for skilled nursing. Now, our hospital admin benefit is a lump sum benefit, again, $250, $500, or $750. They get that once per year. And again, the same basic things has to be covered illness or injury and within 90 days. Now, we do have that ambulance transportation benefit. It's a lump sum $150 benefit. They can get it twice per year as long as it's air, ground, or water. Obviously, if they're in an ambulance, it's going to be one of the 3. So if they are transported by ambulance and do have that coverage, they'll get $150 up to 2 times per year. And the ER treatment is $50. Again, up to twice per year and within 72 hours of the injury. Now let's talk about our riders for a couple minutes. We've got some really good riders. I know John was talking about cancer before. Cancer, unfortunately is very prevalent right now. We actually had a really close friend of mine, one of his family members has cancer. Another friend of ours, her brother and her mother, both are fighting cancer. It's bad, guys. So we have a standalone cancer heart attack and stroke product, which we can talk about at a different time. But if you are selling hospital indemnity, I really, really implore you to take a minute and talk to your clients about this. This rider is available in lump sum benefits, again, to the insured or their beneficiary of anywhere between $5,000 and $50,000 in coverage. And it's great because it's easy to understand. Again, I talked about simplicity, right? You can tell your client, this covers any internal cancer at 100% of the benefit. It does not matter if it's regular, internal cancer, or carcinoma in situ, which are still carriers out there that limit that coverage to 25% of the benefit. Now, it also includes a reoccurrence rider. That rider is great because once they're 2 years from diagnosis and treatment, they've got 25% of the benefit built back up. At 5 years, 75%, and at 10 years, 100%. So it's a really nice benefit because, folks, cancer, if that wasn't built in, A, this would be a one and done rider, and B, once somebody's been diagnosed with something like cancer, they're statistically more likely to get diagnosed a second time, and it doesn't wait for our time frames, right? So if they get diagnosed and treated and they're clear 2 years, at least they have some coverage. So it's a really great rider to add for your clients. Our heart attack and stroke is also very similar. It covers any heart attack diagnosis or need of a heart transplant immediately. For stroke, the stroke has to have lingering effects for at least 30 days. That's pretty typical on any stroke type of benefit in the market today. And then we also accelerate some benefits for coronary artery bypass surgery, aortic surgery, heart valve repair replacement, angioplasties, and stents that the client can do once in their lifetime. If we do accelerate a portion of the benefit, we reserve the remainder of the benefit for if somebody ever has one of the big three qualifying events of a heart attack, a heart transplant, or that stroke with lingering effects for at least 30 days. Now, this does come with also the restoration rider. I'm not going to get too deep into it. It works exactly the same as the reoccurrence rider does on cancer. So those two are great riders. Again, lump sum benefits directly to the beneficiary or the insured. We also have a specified disease rider, guys. This is another lump sum benefit. I love this rider. It's very, very affordable. It covers the things you see on your screen: ALS, which is commonly referred to as Lou Gehrig's disease, coma, end-stage renal, paralysis, organ transplants, MS, and severe burns. Anywhere from $5,000 to $50,000 lump sum. Guys, we're literally talking a couple dollars a day at 65 for a a couple dollars a month, not a day, for a $5,000 benefit at 65 years old. So less than that cup of coffee from McDonald's for a lot of people. We can get them a $5,000 lump sum specified disease benefit. And when you think of how often we're hearing these things being diagnosed in recent years, what a great opportunity, again, to protect our clients from what could be financial peril should they have any of this occur. And our last but not least rider right now is our accident fixed indemnity rider. I really like this rider. John, I believe, brought up that slips and falls happen a lot. Believe it or not, folks, they're the number one cause of ER visits in the U.S. and have been for several years. We offer 3 different levels of coverage, kind of that good, better, best style of offering coverage. Prime would be the good, Advantage would be the better, and Supreme would be the best. I know you can read, so as you can see the differences, a little more coverage depending on what they're doing, but for things like a fractured hip, you get at least $750 with the Prime. And then we've got different things like eye injuries, ER visits, urgent care visits, x-rays, again, some ambulance, air ambulance type of coverage, and even crutches and appliances are covered on this accident policy. So a great opportunity, again, to help our clients avoid what could be, for some of them, financial peril. Now, I like, when people ask me about, hey, how's your underwriting, Jim? I like to put it straight out there so it's as easy for you to understand as I want our product to be for your clients. So here's sort of what we look at. If you're selling the base policy, so not including any of the riders, there's 6 health questions, and really what we're looking for is loss of ADLs. Are they or have they recently been in a nursing home? Or have they ever had AIDS, HIV, or ARC, which is age-related complex? Now, for the accident rider, there is no additional underwriting. For the cancer and heart, riders, there is one health question each. It's a 5-year look back. And for the specified disease lump sum rider, there's 3 questions, 5 years look back, and we're looking for covered conditions, kidney diseases, and transplants, etc. So that's how simple the underwriting is on a product like this. Again, want to make it simple not only for your clients to understand, but for you as well to do business with us at Cigna. Now, one thing I really like about this product, if you're selling those lump sum benefits of the cancer, the heart, or the specified disease, anything $50,000 or under, so everything qualifies on this policy, you do not have to do a phone verification or a telephone interview, whatever we want to call it, once you sell the policy. All you do is fill out the application either on paper or our e-app, and then you hit submit. The client will answer a couple questions while you're on the phone to you, not in a telephone interview, to answer security questions and a PIN, and you'll be done. So again, it's really, really easy to do. So here's some sample rates for the base policy. Now, guys, these are based on 65-year-olds because, again, typically this is paired with the Medicare Advantage. But I will tell you, if you look at this first Senior Choice 1 option, they did not illustrate the least expensive option available. Again, least expensive is $100 a day. But even if we go at $200 a day for a 65-year-old, you're only looking at $19.80 a month. Now, if you jump that same coverage up to Plan 2, that shows you it's about a $7 roughly a month difference to get the observation room and the skilled nursing facility. And then I'm going to jump over to some Plan 3s here. If you go admission at $500, same everything else per day, $200 per day, you're looking at about $47. And then if you jump that admission benefit up to $750, it's about $8 a month more. And what we're trying to illustrate here for you guys is this is a very flexible product. So if you've got a client with about any budget at all and they need this coverage, again, I really strongly suggest it if you have a Medicare Advantage client, anywhere from in the teens per month all the way up to, you could build this with riders to well over $100 a month. Here's some base costs at $65 for your riders, just to give you an idea. And then we're going to go through and show you sort of a sample here of what it looks like. But again, if you see that specified disease rider at $65 for a $5,000 benefit, as I told you, literally a couple of dollars a month, you're looking at $1.62 a month. Now, this just illustrates monthly and annual premiums with the plans and riders. So it just gives you an idea. Again, I won't go through these step by step, but I wanted to illustrate how flexible this is. Now, again, you can build or reduce this as much as you need to a point to make it fit within your client's needs and their budget. So really great products and plans for your clients, especially, again, think simplicity. For those of you who are still having to sell over the phone, and many of us don't have a time frame for when life will get back to, and I'm air quoting, back to normal, whatever that new normal is going to be sometime in the future. Selling over the phone, simple is paramount. So I do want to talk about that because I believe we have one of, if not the best, e-application in the market today. It's available on our agent or broker site called Agent View. So I'm going to walk you through that just for the next couple minutes. This is what the home screen looks at, and if you see where that number 1 is at the top of your screen, you'd click on Express App 2.0. It would take you to this screen. Now, if you've already done some quotes and you want to, or sold some applications and you want to go back in, that's those people on the bottom, the John and Jane Doe down there. If you need anything like your height and weight guidelines, declinable drug list, those are links at the bottom as well. But let's say you're starting over or starting from scratch. That's where you would actually click and fill out the information with that 1, 2, and 3 on the left side of your screen. Once you do that, you click on that quick quote apply screen, and you go here. Now, when you go here, it's actually going to have all of our products. So if you see the hospital indemnity that has the green check mark at the top of your screen, it's going to have every product that we offer at Cigna supplemental benefits available. And once you click on either the singular product you want or as many products as you're going to sell, then you fill out the rest of the information. One thing that I love about our e-app is if you're cross-selling a client, you actually don't start and stop one application at a time. You can sell multiple products all at the same time in one seamless fluid motion. All it does is if you added a different product, let's say you were selling a standalone cancer plan and a hospital indemnity plan, it would just import all of those questions and coverage into one thing, and you'd go and hit start application, fill all that out, and then you're done. Again, for hospital indemnity only, you aren't going to have to do a phone verification, so I'm not going to spend time on this. And let's just talk about phone sales really quick. I apologize. Phone sales are simple with us. Really, it's 2 steps with hospital indemnity. You call the client, you go through the app, and then you submit it. It's really that easy. Now, I like to finish with some fun stuff, so let's talk about our incentives right now. I'm going to talk about sub-health incentives first. So right now, through the end of the year, we have a $25 extra incentive per app every month as long as you have 5 or more issued in any given month. So again, just thanking you for doing what you'd be doing anyways, doing business with us, but helping you make a little extra income. Now, as you see, we also have a couple different Medicare supplement incentives going on right now. We have in most states, a 1,000 lead program, and all you have to do is sell 4 underwritten FGRNs, and we actually include open enrollment plan ends in that. That's going all year. And through September 30th, we're actually doing something similar, but we're also giving on top of the leads $100 per app as long as you write 4 in a given month. Now, I do have to say, please check Agent View or with our friends at Premier. There are some states that don't allow every incentive. So, but most of the country, these are available in. We do offer other products. We offer Medicare Supplement. Guys, we're about to launch Alabama, Utah, and Nevada here late next month, and then Colorado should come pretty soon after that. We have our standalone cancer, heart attack, and stroke, which I believe, again, is the most comprehensive cancer, heart attack, and stroke product on the market. It's our #1 selling supplemental health product. We have an individual whole life, commonly referred to as final expense, and then a standalone cancer treatment and accident treatment policy. Now, with that, guys, I'm here for you. So if you have any questions, please make sure you type them in the question box. And John, please let me know if there's any questions that you see that I can answer.
Yeah, thank you, Jim. Really appreciate the presentation. One of the questions that popped up is there an application fee for the hospital indemnity program, that one-time application fee that we see on many of the policies that are available out there? Does Cigna require that as well?
That's a great question. No, there's not an application fee. So, you know, that sometimes awkward conversation with our clients for what that $20, $30, $35 fee is that they have to pay. Yeah, we don't charge that. So you don't have to have that awkward conversation with those clients who question those things. But great question.
That's awesome. Many times people will say, well, gee, I'm not going to pay that, and they forego the whole program simply because of an application fee. So thank you, Randall, for that question. And I think in the base part of it, there are some things that are asked about some of the marketing piece that talks about where can we get brochures and things of that nature. And I think that's agent view, but I'd like you to verify that and expound on that if you would.
Yeah, absolutely. Agent view is where you can get any of our new business material. I will say whoever you work with over there at Premier, whoever your marketer is, Premier is one of our, pardon the pun, Premier partners and has been since before I joined Cigna 5 years ago. So your marketer will also be able to help guide you to get brochures if you're using paper apps, any of that stuff. But if you want to be self-sufficient, it is available, everything on Agent View.
Awesome. Another question that popped up, I think, is actually outside of your purview, but it's asking about commissions on PDP products. And I know that that is another division within your organization and probably something that, we need to discuss individually, but there is talk of that coming available. At the present time, PDPs are not commissionable. Another question is...
Yeah, John, I don't mind at least telling what I know, which is very little. That's been we'll say a sore spot, and understandably so, with our brokers for a long time. I do know there's talk about making a commissionable PDP. It is a separate division. I'm hearing maybe next year, but don't quote me on that. We do understand it's something that is really needed by our brokers, and that division is working on it.
Awesome. Another question, and this is basically administrative or procedural. If they can get a copy of the presentation, today's presentation is being recorded. You'll get a link to that, and you will receive a slide deck, a PDF slide deck of the presentations as well. But part of that, if we could take that a step further, Jim, for just a moment, presentations to help with this, because the program is so simple, it seems like it's a logical step. But is there material available that people could use to present to an individual, a sales track we could use on individuals, or if we're addressing this with groups?
So we don't really have a presentation like this that's built for the end consumer yet. The good news is I really think once you work with this product and go through it once or twice, again, it is so simple. It's not as confusing as maybe some of the others out in the market, in my opinion. So I don't think you're going to use it, especially when you have the brochures and other sales material that you would typically have at a sales presentation. But I will say, if you guys are out there selling it and you believe there's a need for more of something different that maybe we're missing as a company that would help you make more effective sales on our hospital indemnity, please let our friends at Premier know. And boy, they've got me on speed dial and got my email. So I promise you they'll communicate with me, and we'll see if we can get it done. That's the only promise I can make with that, is we'll see if it is something we can do. But if it is, we'll definitely do it.
Awesome. We do have a generic version of a presentation that we've developed for hospital indemnity, and it would be a natural transition into the choice that they have with Cigna as well. So that works kind of hand in hand. And because, as you mentioned, Jim, the product is set up to make it easy to explain, I think it's a natural progression to go through and handle that as part of a presentation, particularly if this is in your rotation for community centers of influence and that sort of thing, as an overall presentation you make available. So those are the only questions I see that come up. Jim, I want to thank you for your presentation. We'll go back to, and just a few slides to finish up with why you would want to use this product and work with us through us here at Premier. And we want to make certain that you understand that there are advantages to working with our organization, particularly if you're out there and you're looking to contract perhaps with multiple programs. Our Assurance Pay program enables you to set up a profile of yourself and contract with programs electronically as well. It's a great way to store all your information, so you have a central point of, boy, where's my E&O information? Have I answered all these questions? That sort of thing. Not all companies utilize this program. The majority do, but we make certain that we have an electronic process for contracting as well to make it as simple as possible for you, eliminate human error because, well, you got to answer all the questions correctly to go forward with it. And be it through this system or the direct electronic link with the carrier, we're going to make certain that we can shorten that process. And when you look at this product specifically, Hospital Indemnity, and some of the other ancillary products that we have from Cigna, we realize that contracting is quick as possible, and you don't have to do annual certifications with this product either. And we make certain that we protect your financial situation as well through discounted E&O, errors and admissions coverage for qualified agents. What makes you a qualified agent? Well, you got a contract with us. It enables you to own this program and cover you regardless of the plans, insurance plans that you have out there that you offer and through whom. We recognize as an independent agent, you have a ton of options out there to work with different programs. They're all with us. Boy, thank you. We appreciate it. But as large as we are and as extensive as our portfolio is, sometimes there might be a program you want that, hey, we may not offer. This still gives you the coverage that you need to cover yourself with those programs and satisfy, which is a contractual obligation that is now up there with most plans. We also help you keep your license active through discounted continuing education through our relationship with WebCE, and you can actually add to your own benefit portfolio through a modified guarantee issued DI policy, disability insurance policy, that you get paid on a commission for yourself. So a great way to make certain that you protect your ability to produce income. Much as where today's presentation is being recorded, we have a library of past presentations that you can access 24/7 through our website or through our YouTube channel. Those are out there available for you. And it includes not only product explanations as we've gone through and explained today, but also general marketing tips and hints on different programs and on other plans and types of programs that are out there that you may have need of. Hey, I need a quick brush up or I can't make something live. Well, we have the recordings available for you. Also want to emphasize the value of that Medicare Center program that's available without cost for you through our organization. So if you've used that to quote and you have data within that system, you can use the CRM function, go back and pull those people that are probably the most likely prospects for a hospital indemnity program and address that in a marketing campaign. Not only a great way to make certain that you cover all the gaps, you do so through a program that doesn't cost you to utilize, but it also then gives you that opportunity to stay in front of your prospects and clients, not only sell them additional coverage, but help keep the programs that are in place for you as well. That quoting tool, as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, is a great way to go into some of these ancillary products and make certain that we're filling that gap. One of those pieces of follow-up will include a link to that 15-minute presentation on how to use it. But as Jim has demonstrated today, the application that's available, the e-application that's available through Cigna is really simple, a great way to do it. We just want to make certain that we are taking care of all the needs as simply as possible for our prospects and clients too. And as Jim mentioned near the end of his presentation, you have those extra incentives. And sometimes it's difficult to track where all those are. We have a special place on our website that gives you the information on carrier trips and incentives that are available and how they may affect your participation in the premier incentive programs as well. So a way of making certain that we can get you the information you need as to your full compensation on these products. And sometimes that extends past the commissions that are paid. And this last year, things sure did change. Obviously, our usual cruise program that we had because of the environment, well, it changed to make certain that you still got additional incentives. And for some folks, that turned into $4,000 worth of cash for last year's work. We also want to make certain that we have programs to put you in front of people that outside of maybe the folks that you will talk to, because remember, if you're using that CRM and Medicare Center, it has not only the people you enrolled, but the people that you quoted that didn't. That's a great contact list, but we can also get you additional calling lists should you choose to do so, low or no cost, depending upon your contracting situation with us. And well, gee, it is a means for an outbound call campaign, because you can do that with these programs that we discussed today. And you can do it one-on-one, or you can go into the community centers of influence and make it part of any retail program that you have ongoing outside of the AEP, because there are people still in pharmacies or accessing clients and prospects through those locations as well, but also a means to address other centers of influence, such as faith-based organizations or providers that actually provide this care, working with them to fully maximize your marketing potential. Because there are people that don't respond to any type of marketing outreach unless you are doing it through one of their trusted centers of influence. And we want to make certain that we give you a track to follow in that area, which I think we do a pretty good job of. It also gives you the opportunity to utilize any carrier-generated prospects. That's particularly appropriate for folks that are active in the MA market, because many of those carriers may have lead programs ongoing throughout the year. And this is a great, as we've described, an adjunct product to make certain that we cover those needs. We do also offer internet lead programs and direct mail support. The direct mail program that we have is based on production, and with a good amount of activity, it's a great way to cut your costs and be able to do direct mail consistently, because it's like an exercise program. You do it once, well, you might see a little or feel a little bit of benefit, but you feel the pain of some of the cost. You do it consistently, that's where you're going to see a nice flow of leads. And when we subsidize part of that cost, well, gee, it makes that easier to do. We do that through different preferred lead vendors. We have two sets there for you, two different mail campaigns, once for health programs, such as what we discussed today or the base medical stuff, but we also have a separate program for our final expense producers. So you could qualify technically twice within the same month for different products through these programs. It also makes certain that you realize that there are different specials that are being done by some of the direct mail carriers. This particular ad off of social media speaks to one of our partners in that area that has had great success in a dual special needs mailing. So you have different options on different letters that are available, and these companies are very good to work with. That's why we have them as a preferred carrier, but it also gives us an opportunity to make certain that the material that's being sent on your behalf is vetted and keeps you in compliance. If you are one of those folks that, hey, I need a little quicker return because a direct mail program takes about 3 weeks for it to be set up and you start getting some of the responses back, we do also have a couple of programs that enable you to access mail returns, uncontacted, fresh leads, but you're out talking to people that have already responded. Those are available to you through our organization as well. That internet program that I mentioned a bit earlier, these are mostly Facebook lead programs. We have two separate ones, one for final expense and one for Medicare leads. The Medicare leads generally are of a Medicare supplement outreach to begin with, but these can be tied into any CRM, which a CRM is basically your customer service that gives you a point of reference for all the people that you've worked with. So it's a way to keep your lead flow organized. Hopefully that answers the question that popped up in the presentation. We do all this simply because we want your business. Much as other marketing companies are out there speaking with you, I mean, I get robo-dialed all the time too. It's interesting to see some of the approach, but the relationships that we have with our agents tend to be very strong, and we like to earn your business as well. And so we're asking for it. We'd like to see many of you on this call make certain that you're utilizing all the programs that are available to you. And as Jim demonstrated today, this one, the way Cigna's got it set up, it's so easy to walk through a process and deliver on a product that seriously can make a huge difference for them when one of the major expenses we have in our lifetime for medical costs are hospitalizations. And we see how Cigna not only sets that up easily for you to work through, but it addresses each of the major causes that are out there for hospitalization. So a great way for you to do it simply, tie in the key things that are of interest for folks, earn their business as we're looking to earn yours. So we'd like you to make this a part of your marketing program, make certain that you understand how some of the systems work. And so we set you up with a marketer within our organization. As many of you already have that relationship, they're able to make certain that you have the material available to make this a viable part of that marketing program. And that includes, as Jim mentioned, making certain that you have the materials to do so. You know, obviously you can do it yourself through Agent View, but your agent marketer can help you with that too. So all that said and done, let's check the questions before we end really quickly. We have them all addressed so far. If something comes up and you have a question that pops, keep in mind you're going to be sent an email with this information. You can respond to that with any questions, and we'll make certain that they are covered for you. And also keep in mind that we'll be outreaching to you and saying, hey, it's a great presentation. Jim made it simple to follow. Let's make this a part of your marketing program and let's get started. Keep in mind, if you've got a contract with Cigna for their ancillary programs, their Medicare Supplements as well, this is in that contract. You may already be contracted for this program, but we want to make certain that you understand how it can work simply for you. And you can obviously give us a call too. Reach us through 1-800-365-8208. Ask to speak to your marketer. If you haven't worked with us before, we'll get someone with you to make certain that you see the ins and outs of this. And you can also access information through our website at premiersmi.com. So all that said and done, I want to thank Jim for his presentation, but I also want to thank you for the time you've invested with us here today. We realize that's your most precious commodity. We thank you for that. If you've worked with us currently or in the past, I thank you for your business. Much appreciated. And we want to make certain that we can help you in any of the areas that you may have a need for either product or other information. That said, we want you to watch for that outreach that'll come to you as part of the email. Sometimes with attachments, it may go into your spam, but we'll make certain that you get it. And until we're able to talk again, we're going to wish you good selling. Thanks so much for coming on, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you, Jim. We appreciate you as well. Thank you very much.
Thanks, John. Thanks, everyone.
Have a good day.